Hi to everyone. Today I'm going to present you the Lindström record calculator, which I guess was probably a German brand. So as a general outlook, it looks a little bit like a Monroe. You have a lot of buttons here, and the basic principle is always the same. I can push my buttons down. They appear here. Here I have this added line where I can see what I have inserted. I turn once, the number appears here, then I insert a second number, I turn again, and here I have the sum of the two. So the principle is always the same. This lever here is to decide whether I want the buttons to jump up after one turn, or like I would use in sum and subtraction, addition and subtraction, and if I want the buttons to remain down if I do a multiplication and division. So if I move the lever on the left position, the buttons remain there and I can do multiple turns. Here I have the counter register, here I have the output register. To reset the registers, I just move these two levers by lifting the whole carriage. To move the carriage, I have these buttons here, which I can push. As you can see, it's not a very quick operation, and it's a very noisy operation as well. Anyway, this machine, from my studies, was produced around the 1930s. It's a very rare machine. There's not many around. Not many were produced back then. But I bought it 2.5 months ago, and it was almost perfectly working. I had to fix a little bit the buttons that wouldn't stay down at the beginning, but just by using it a lot, it just came back into life and was working fine. Another peculiarity of this calculator is that I have this lever here that I can fix the number 1. So that may be helpful to have a second counter if I just do, for example, sums. I do a lot of sums here, additions. So, of course, I have a counter here, but I have a second counter there. So, I'm not really sure what that may be helpful, but it was just an option that they included in this model. What else? With this machine, you always turn the crank in the same direction. So, to do subtraction and divisions, I have this lever here, which I can move to this position to do subtractions and divisions. So now if I insert any number, you will see it goes below 0, it underflows, because now I am 0. I subtract, I have all the 9s here appearing. And if I want to add it again, I move it here, like this, and I put it back to 0. Of course, I can reset it from here. So normally in other models we've seen, if you remember, we had the possibility to turn the crank the other way around, and here they solved it this way. What does this lever do? The nice thing of this calculator is that I can open it up here. So here we have the gear wheels coming from below, from, let's say, the engine part of our machine, where the numbers are set, and they hang on to these two gear wheels here. And when I am in addition mode, this one will turn connected to that one, and if I move it to subtraction, then this side will connect to that gear wheel. And in this way they were able to move from subtraction to division without having to turn the crank the other way around. It's actually not really that practical, because with a normal machine which doesn't have this mechanism, I can just, with one hand, I can do additions and subtractions, whereas with this model, every time I have to do a subtraction, I have to move this lever on this side, and then I have to do addition again, I move this lever on this side, and so I just go on moving it back and forth. But let's say the advantage was that I could just keep on turning the crank in the same direction. One thing I haven't shown in the previous videos is that I can set here positions. I can choose where to set it. For example, if I'm doing calculations where I always have two positions after the comma, I can put that one on, so I have a little bit of orientation on the keyboard. But actually I can set whatever I want, so you can just decide which one you want to set to, so that you are doing thousand separator rather than comma separator or whatever. Okay, that's about it for this calculator. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. 4, 2, 4, 3, 2, 5. Arrivo un attimo. Vabbè.